Hello and welcome to our presentation about Canada. And now I'll be going over some basic facts about Canada. Canada has a population of 37.8 million people, which means it's about 4 times as much as the Swedish population. Now I'll be going over where Canada is. Canada is north of the US. Canada's longitude is 43 degrees north and latitude is minus 79 degrees west. The Canadian flag was inspired of a maple leaf. There's a lot of native maple trees in Canada, so that was one of the reasons why they did eventually choose the leaf. But it was not the main reason. The main reason was because before the flag had a British flag in the left corner of the flag, and the French did not appreciate the flag because they thought it represented colonialism and French defeat. The English-speaking population liked the British flag, or the so-called Union Jack. The leaf was a compromise because the English speakers still had the red color from before, and it did not have any English symbols, so the French did not have anything against the flag.
In 2001, a Viking named Leif Erikson traveled to what is currently known as Newfoundland, Canada. He called the island Vinland. He returns back to Norway, and sometime later, he goes back to Vinland, or nowadays Newfoundland, and starts small settlements. For an unknown reason, he leaves. The highest probability is that it was because of indigenous people. Another theory is that it was simply too cold and they had too few resources to live there. After that, no European visited nowadays Canada until 1497, that being John Cabot, an Italian-born Englishman, was told to visit these northern territories that people didn't really know much about at the time, and he ended up in Newfoundland, the same island the Vikings found. He claimed Newfoundland to belong to the British Empire. Almost 30 years later, a man named Jacques Cartier sailed through what is now called the St. Lawrence Flood. When trying to start the new settlement he called Quebec, a couple of indigenous people noticed it and came forward from the woods. What tribe they belonged to or what language they spoke is not known, but they use the word Kanata, and which means village. So in a couple of different Indian languages. So the main theory is that they said village to him and to his men. And after that, Jacques called the entire area Canada, and since then, the French always referred to this area as Canada, and with time, the British did the same thing.
There are quite a few indigenous people like the First Nation and the Inuit, but I'll be focusing on the group called Métis. The Métis are a mixed culture from both indigenous people from America and European cultures combined. The French started to call the people Métis in the 16th century. The Métis have traditions like create their own sashes and their form of music called fiddle music. The Métis have created everything from their own culture and traditions to their own language, which is called Michif. Michif is a combination from other types of indigenous people languages, such as French Métis, which is closely related to French, but with some extra characters like these ones. And it is also closely related to the Cree languages that is also spoken throughout the parts of Canada. The Cree language is closely related to the Algonquian languages, which is a subgroup with 30 different languages. The Métis flag was first used to represent the Métis resistance fighters. The flag was a gift from the Northwest Company, a fur trade company. It would represent the Métis in the Battle of the Seven Oaks, which was a battle between two fur trade companies. The goal was to establish a larger territory, so you can say that the Métis was used as mercenaries. The battle was in the 19th century. The Métis won in the end and only lost one man, while the Hudson Bay Company lost 21 men. The Métis flag represents the infinity symbol. The reason why is because they want their culture to live on forever. When the Europeans came to Canada, some people started to combine their cultures, so the Europeans and the indigenous people unified. So the flag also represents the unification of the two different cultures.
In Canada, there is a French province called Quebec, where approximately 85% of people talk French. 31% of Canada's population are French-speaking, while 25% are French-Canadian. The French-Canadian accent is a mix of Canadian and French, which sounds a bit different from traditional French. Canada is one of the most diverse countries when it comes to culture. In Toronto, the most populous city in Canada, there are many ethnic groups from every corner of the world, which results in many different languages being spoken. The primary language spoken in Toronto is English, whilst there are 160 distinct other languages being spoken. Canada is very famous for their hockey, as they have some of the best teams in the world. There is a large annual hockey league called National Hockey League. The team with the most wins are called Montreal Canadiens and is from Montreal. Canada is the 6th biggest music producer in the world, and because of that, music is a big part of Canada's culture. Many pop stars like Justin Bieber and Shawn Mendes are born in Canada. In Canada, there is a large annual event called the Juno Awards, where they reward Canadian artists who have created musical feats.
The Canadian accent is very hard to distinguish from other types of accents, but the Canadian accent is inspired from both American and British English. You can see it here on the spelling. Many people in Canada talk American English, but there are a few words that they pronounce differently, and it's called the Canadian raising. The Canadian raising is when they put their tongue higher in their mouth, which ignores diphthongs. For an example, the word about is more like a boot in Canada. Here are some examples.
Are all very unhappy about this. I am absolutely unhappy about it as well.
Stressed out, but don't worry about it, because here's what's going to happen. We're going to get drunk and eat chicken fingers. Me, you, and the old man's going to be here in about 20 minutes.
A matter of planning, and of course being a mom is all about routine.
Well, think about it. 10 years ago, the price of gold was maybe $300 an ounce.
Canadians also say a in their sentences, and the reason why we think of this word when we talk about Canada is because it's a stereotype. It has represented itself from different shows, and it became a gimmick that has made itself into Canadian accents. And here is an example of the Canadian stereotype.
Great. Not even halfway through Canada and we're stuck. Oh, hey there. You having some car troubles, eh?
Yeah, we're trying to get to the North Pole. I don't suppose you're from AAA, are you?
Who?
AAA, you know? AAA.
Oh, AA, eh? Hey, I just came from AA.
No, not AA, AAA.
Yeah, that's what I said. AA, eh?
Oh, so you are with AAA?
Oh, no, that's AAA. I just came from AA, eh?
Huh?
Stewie, I think he's just a drunk.
Well, drunk or not, can you help us?
I can if you want to join AA, eh?
No, I'm already a member of AAA. I need help with the car.
Oh, I see. Yeah, looks like you got some water leakage. You might need a hose, eh?
Jose, Roberto, whatever. If you got some Latinos up here that can fix cars, that'd be great.
No, I mean, it looks like you need a part, eh?
Well, yeah, when it's fixed, we can celebrate, but let's deal with first things first.
Well, I can probably take you to a gas station, eh? You have cash, eh?
Well, I don't know. My name carries a little weight, but I don't see how that matters here.
Look, we don't have enough cash to fix the car, and we're kind of on our way to the North Pole. Oh, a car won't take you there anyway. But if you like, you can take my snowmobile. Really? You just give it to us? Oh, sure, that's what Canadian hospitality's all about. If you like, you can have all my money and my leg.
Okay.
Now it's time for a Foon fact. It's fun because I said Foon. There is something called Canadian bacon, and I can't understand why they call it that. For the first part, where is the fat? Bacon is supposed to have a reasonable amount of fat. Regular bacon is made from pork belly, while the Canadian bacon consists of pork loin and the pork belly. This is regular bacon, and this is Canadian bacon. Canadian bacon is also called back bacon or kotelett bacon in Swedish.
Justin Trudeau, Canada's Prime Minister, recently received a lot of backlash for buying donuts and then sharing it on social media. Now, why was this so controversial? Well, he apparently bought them for 47 Canadian dollars, which is approximately 35 US dollars, which some claim is corporate promotion.
Canada's national dish is called poutine and was founded in Quebec. Poutine always consists of 3 key ingredients, which is fries, cheese curds, and gravy. And you can add anything in a poutine. That's why it's Canada's national dish. Canada's cuisine isn't that Canadian. It is mostly a combination of many different cuisines in one. Other things that are purely Canadian is the maple syrup, which is a true Canadian staple. The maple leaf is even in the Canadian flag.
Still tastes good.